What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna be going through a tutorial on how to script automatically sliding stairs. So here's a quick demo of it. So as you see, when you press the button, they just automatically slide in back, and then you cannot walk over them. And then when you press it back again, it comes up. Okay, so the main part there's gonna be mainly two scripts and a trigger. So let's go do that right now. Okay, so over here I have an empty area, so we don't have to worry about building. I'm just gonna dive into scripting. So first, we're gonna use a trigger to register any inputs from the player. So we're just gonna put it over here. Oops, here we go. Okay, and for this trigger, we're gonna get a script. This script should be small. We're just gonna call it button trigger. Okay, and then we're gonna attach the button trigger to the trigger. Okay, and this one is gonna be straightforward. It's gonna be when the player, okay, when the trigger receives any inputs from the player. So it's gonna be when player enters trigger. When trigger is entered by player, we're basically just gonna send an event to the script itself, and then we're gonna listen to to these events via the listen to code blocks. It's right over here. So it's listen to events from this object. We're gonna use that for the stairs later for the second script. As for now, we're just gonna send an event to the script itself. So we're gonna go to send event to object, and we're gonna call this event just button pressed. Okay, so we got this event over here. After that, so if you look at the original one over here, you'll see that if you press the button, it starts moving, and if you press it again before it finishes, it doesn't register. So here's it one more time. See, it doesn't register until it's done. So to be able to do that, we need to wait for the last stairs to come up or to go back in to be able to register again. So to implement that over there, we're gonna use a boolean input, and we're just gonna call it is active. So is active, and it's gonna be a boolean input. Okay, and when the player triggers the trigger, basically we're gonna check if the button is active. If active, we're gonna send the pressed button event. If not, we're not gonna send it. So we're just gonna use an if statement. We're gonna slide this code blocks underneath it, and we're gonna get the is active and put it over here. So if is active, if you just put a boolean variable alone, if it's true, it would automatically run the script. Okay, and then after that, since we pressed the button, we want to deactivate it. We don't want any presses again until the last stairs come up. And when the last stairs come up, we're just gonna reset it. This way, you don't have stairs going out and in without waiting for the whole stairs to finish, basically. So we're just gonna set the is active boolean variable to false. So set to is active to false right over here. Okay, and we're almost done for the script. We just need to be able to reset it. So for the to be able to reset the variable, we're gonna do that by we're just gonna add that to the other script. So when all of the stairs are done, the last stairs that finishes the whole animation is gonna send an event back to this script. So we're just gonna grab a when event received, and we're gonna call that reset. Okay, and when reset is received, we're just gonna set is active back to true. So this way we press the button, the stairs play the animation, and then when the animation is done, we're gonna send an event back to over here. So just a quick view before we move on to the other script. We're done with this script. I'm just gonna go over how it works. When trigger is entered by player, if if the button is active, it's gonna set it to not active because we only want it to register one time, and then we're just gonna send an event called button press to self, which is gonna be received by the other script that we still didn't create. Okay, and then when the whole search is done, the other script is gonna send back an event to the trigger object with the reset event, and it's gonna reset the button. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the other section. I'm basically gonna grab a script. Okay, and then I'm gonna call this one just for stairs. For the stairs. Okay, and then I'm basically gonna attach the four stairs to this staircase. This is basically just two cubes, and I've added some texture to it. Okay, four stairs. So now we've attached the script for it. Okay. For the stairs, if we have multiple of them like that above each other, okay, when we walk on them, the player is not gonna walk smoothly. So that's why we're gonna disable the collidability for now. Yeah, we're gonna disable the collidability, and then we're just gonna add an invisible ramp. So this way, when the player goes off the stairs, it's gonna be smoother. So here, let me demo that. So over here, there's an invisible ramp. So when you go over it, you don't bump into each staircase as you go. Now, going back to where we stopped at. Okay. So for this stairs, we're gonna have to communicate with the button, with the trigger. So we're gonna create a variable called button, and then it's gonna be a type of object, and then we're gonna link the trigger to the object. So since we got the script attached to this object, we're gonna get the properties out. Oh wait, how do we have it? Oh, I think we got the wrong script attached on it. For series. Okay. Okay. Anyways, I don't know why that was there. Maybe because I took a copy of it from over there. But nevertheless, we're just gonna come over here, get the open the properties panel for this trigger, and then get this pill from over here and just place it over here. And we've connected that. Okay. So when word is started, we're just gonna listen to events over there. So we're gonna come to the event section and listen to events from the button object which we just connected. After that, we need to know when the button is pressed. So over here, we send button pressed to self. So since we're listening to any events from over here, we're gonna create an event to receive this thing, to receive the event. Okay. So when event is received, and it's called button pressed, Make sure you write it exactly as the other one so it works. Currently, they have a bug to where you don't see it slide down. Hopefully, they fix it soon. Okay, and when the button is pressed, so we're gonna make the staircase slide down. But before we continue for this one, we're gonna make another event, and then for this event, it's gonna actually move the stairs. So we're just gonna call it move. And how this works, instead of doing two scripts, it's just gonna be one event. Instead of having two events, we're just gonna have one event. And then if the staircase is if it didn't slide outwards, we're just gonna automatically get it outwards, and if it's out, we're just gonna get it back in. So we're gonna have to use an if else statement. And to test that, we're gonna also use a boolean like last script. So for this boolean, we're just gonna say uh, is stairs is it out? Okay, so if it's is there a better one word for that? Is it extended? Yeah. So is there extended? Extended. And that's gonna be a boolean. So when the word starts, by default it's not gonna be extended, so we're gonna leave that to false. And then over here we're gonna check if is stairs extended. So if this boolean is true, which is currently not, it's gonna so if it's extended, we're gonna have to get it backwards, and if not, we're gonna have to slide it outwards. Okay. So if it's not extended, if it's extended, I'm sorry, I mean if it's extended, we're gonna have to get it backwards. So I'm gonna make a constant variable for how much it should move, or just a variable. It's not constant because we're gonna change it later, and we're gonna call that just move by. This should represent like how many, how by how much the stairs should move by. It's gonna be a number, okay. And then we're gonna get the move. We're gonna go to the motion section, and then we're gonna get the move by bill, okay. And then we're gonna move self by. Oh, my bad. Move by should not be a number. It should be a vector. It's a vector. Okay. So if we come over here, we can see that that's negative x and that's positive x. So we need to move it when we need to move it forward, we're gonna move it through the positive x. So that's the x that's the x score one over here, and then we're just gonna test with 1.5 till now, and we can change that later. Okay. And then okay, so if the staircase is extended, we need to return it back. So we need to move it by the opposite of this vector. So basically, we're just gonna multiply this vector by -1 to move it back. So we're just gonna get multiply by just -1 number input -1. Okay, and then we're gonna multiply that by the move by vector. Okay, so if it's extended, we're gonna return it back, and if it's not extended, else we're just gonna move it by the move by variable vector. Okay, so right now when we send move, if it's extended, it's gonna retract, and if it's not, it's gonna go outwards. Okay, now let's return back to the button pressed. When the button pressed, we're gonna have two. So if we go over here, we have two kind of staircase. We're gonna have one that instantly reacts to the button press, and there is one that has a delay. So the second staircase and fourth, they have a delay. They take a couple of seconds before they come out. So for that, we're gonna just use a boolean variable again, and this is gonna be called is second. So is we're just gonna use two for that, and it's gonna be a boolean. Okay. So for the staircase, if it's the second one, you're just gonna over here, you're gonna turn this on. So you're just gonna when we're done, we're gonna go and alternate and turn the each second one on for the effect to take place. Okay, for now we're just gonna turn it off. Okay, and when button is pressed, okay, if it's second, we're gonna add the delay. If not, wait, actually, let's do the delay variable over here. Ooh, and it's just gonna be a number, and we're just gonna put that in the start. So we're just gonna use an if statement. Okay, so when it started, we're gonna listen to events, and if is second. Okay, so if we check the is second one, it's gonna be true. So we're just gonna add a delay. So we're gonna set the delay to a number. If we don't check that on, then this if statement wouldn't process, and it wouldn't change the delay, and the delay would just stay at zero. So we're just gonna come to, oh, we need to set it to, so if it's the second one, like if it's if it's an even staircase and we turn this on, we're gonna set the delay to something, a number. We'll figure that. So we're gonna set the delay to just, we're gonna give it a value. We can just hard code it for right now. Let's say it's gonna be 1 second, for example. Okay, so when the word is started, it automatically sees if it's if it's an even staircase, and if it's an even staircase, it adds the delay. It says the delay to 1, and if it's not, it just leaves it at 0. Okay, and so when the button is pressed, we can send the event move to self. So send move with delay. Oh, okay. We're gonna send move to self with delay. We're gonna get this delay over here, and then we're basically almost done. Yeah, we're basically almost done. So right now, if it's an even one, it's gonna add a delay before it sends the move. So it's gonna be late by a second. The last thing we need to do is when we're done, we just need to send a reset for the button. So the second, okay, if it's a second staircase, it's gonna be 1 second delayed than than half of the other staircases. So we need to wait until the second one is done moving to reset the button. So when the button is pressed, if if is second, we're gonna reset. We're gonna send an event to over here. It was called reset, I believe. Yeah, when reset, we're gonna send reset. Okay, send event reset to the button object. We connected it over here. So to button after delay. So basically, if it's the second staircase, it already has a delay of 1 or whatever we set over here. So since it's gonna take like 1 second to move, after 1 second, we're gonna be able to press the button because we set the button over there. Okay. Okay, guys, before we continue, I just discovered a couple of issues. So to start, over here in the move, we should move over time, not move instantly. So we're just gonna go to the move, to the motion section, and then we're just gonna get the move over time one. So I'm just gonna change that real fast. Ooh, also, yeah, we need to use move by, not move to. Okay, this is better. Okay, guys, to continue. The other thing that we need to fix is over here, the button trigger. We need to set that to active. It should start with active. Okay. And then going back to scripting, over here when button is pressed, so we don't want to send it every time uh, uh, the even staircase. We just need to send it when it's just, we need to send just from one staircase. That's more than enough. So I'm just gonna make another variable and then I'm just gonna call it is last. So if it's the last staircase, it's gonna be a boolean. And then over here, we're gonna check if it's the last staircase. We're gonna turn that on when we set them up. And for now, okay, so for the delay, since we're moving it over a time and we're sending, so if it's a second one, it's gonna take the amount, like this delay amount to move, and then it needs to account to that delay. So we need to add these two together. So I'm just gonna get a plus sign over here, and then it's gonna be delay plus this constant. So I'm just gonna make a variable for this real fast so we don't need to keep typing it. So I'm just gonna call it time to slide. Time to slide. And that's gonna be a number. Okay. And then we're gonna add time to slide. And over here we're gonna have time to slide too. And then we're just gonna set it over here to 1 for now. Yeah, we're done with this script. The last thing we need to do is put we need to put a ramp on the stairs. Okay, after I get a ramp, I'm just gonna open the property panel for this one, and then I'm gonna select the cube and then go into the staircase group to group them together. And then after that, I'm just gonna align the ramp with the stairs, and this should be good. So for the ramp, we're gonna set it to invisible. So let's open the property panel for the ramp. We're gonna set it to invisible and then do not reflect light, but we're gonna keep the collidable property. And then after that, we're done. We just need to copy it. So I'm just gonna test it real fast. I'm just gonna copy two. Okay. And for now, since this is the second one, we're gonna open the properties for that one. And then we're gonna select is second. And then we're gonna select is last too, because I mean, although if we had a fourth staircase too, it would take the same time. We just need to select any of them and just any one that has the is second, and then we just need to turn on the is last on it too. Okay, and let's test this one. Oh, and before I forget, over here we probably have to change the vector over here. We'll test it and see how it goes. Yeah, definitely get the button down. Okay, so it's going in the wrong direction. So we're gonna zero out this section. And then we're gonna set that to 1.5. And then we're also gonna increase the slide time to 2 seconds maybe. Let's reset the world. That's a bit too slow. Okay, and it's moving in the wrong. Okay, so it's not going backwards. Okay, I figure out what's wrong. So since the staircase extends over here, we need to set it to not extending. So we're just gonna change the boolean type, the boolean state. So if the staircase is extended, we're gonna not extend it. We're gonna slide it back, and then we're gonna set the is staircase extended to false. And then if the staircase if it's not extended, we're gonna extend the staircase, and then we're gonna set the is staircase extended to true. Okay, and then I changed the speed back to 1. Let's put it 1.5 or 1.4. Let's try 1.4, and then hopefully this time it should work better. That looks much better. Okay, we're almost done. We just need to copy it multiple times. So I'm just gonna delete these two. Okay, so last thing we need to do, we need to just duplicate the stairs a couple of times, but I just want to make sure that when the player gets on the stairs, I don't want any bumps. So I made the ramp visible just for now. Okay, and one thing we need to make sure that for the whole group, we need to make sure that it's collidable. And then if you go inside the group, we need, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's better to make these not collidable. So make sure we got these settings turned the way they should be. Okay. And then just to test how it would work, I'm just gonna get a cube just for reference. We want it somewhere around here. So I'm gonna grab the staircase from the corner and then place it over here. And then let's test that real fast. Okay, so maybe we need to get it down a little bit. So I'm just gonna reduce the height of this supporting cube. Just a little bit. And then I'm gonna get everything just a little bit down. Okay. Hopefully this works better. Let's duplicate it. And then just use the array tool to duplicate that. And then let's test it. Okay, so this works flawlessly. So now we're just gonna delete these cubes. I'm gonna disable the visibility of the ramp. Okay, and then we just should be able to copy them easily. So just use the duplication tool, place it on this corner, and then just keep arraying it multiple times until you have like more than the height that you need. So for me, I'm just gonna use this much just in case. And then I'm just gonna delete this cube. Okay, so we don't need the last one. Okay, so just make sure the bottom one is not too high from the ground so it doesn't cause any issues when the player stands on it. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'm just gonna slide it to where it barely shows. Okay, and then basically I'm just gonna select the even staircase and start turning the is second on. So I'm gonna turn is second for this one. And for the second staircase only, I'm just gonna turn is last. I should have probably used a better name. You can definitely change that if you want to. And then I'm just gonna change each even one. So this one is gonna get is second. And then this one I'm gonna get an is second. And same thing for the last one. Okay, now this should work. Let's test that. Okay, so we click the button and it works. But I think if we come over here in the back, we can move it a little bit more forward. So we're just gonna change since we got it as a variable, we can change it really easy. Let's increase that to 1.8. Let's reset the world and test that again. Okay, so here you got it, guys. It's a totally functioning staircase. It looks cool. I'm from the future, and one thing to make the experience a bit better, just make sure that the trigger is not so tall, because when you put your hand in the trigger, for the trigger to register again, you need to get your hands out. So just make sure that the trigger is just slightly above the object you need it to work. So this way you can just so when you put your hands, if you don't have to slide it all the way up and then back in the trigger. So here you go, guys, a working automatic staircase that looks good, and it's also functional to add in any of your words. Feel free to write down any comments or anything that we should improve, anything that could improve it on. I'll take a look at the comments down below, and see you next time.